Abi Afzal, do you play any sports? Anything?
No, sir, I don't play sport for last 2 to 3 years. I am just focusing on study and
Okay.
these things.
So, my son, he started playing basketball, right?
Yes.
So in my life, I have never played basketball, right? I've never played basketball. So first of all, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So as I was telling you, in my life, I have never played basketball. So my son, he joined a camp, Sunnah basketball camp. The camp is run by a person who used to be, he's a revert to Islam. He was a Sikh, right? The guy was a Sikh. But now, mashallah, he reverted to Islam and very nice brother, very nice brother. I'm going to show you his picture, right? I'm going to show you his picture. Mashallah. He accepted Islam, he came to Islam. And if you see him, you'll be surprised. Like, this is something I want to show you, right? I don't even know if he knows about this. So this is the brother. His name is, this is the brother with the beard, right? He used to be
Yes.
A Sikh, like from India, but he accepted Islam. He was born here and he used to go through all of the things. So he's a, mashallah, very good brother. So my son joined his camp. I had to put him over there. The camp name is, Sunnah basketball, right? The reason they call it Sunnah is because he gives dawah during practicing, right? He gives dawah, right? In my life, as I said, I have never played basketball. Uh, in my school days, there used to be a basketball hoop, and I tried sometimes, and that's it. I never did, right? So 1 or 2 days I played. I didn't know how to play, right? Anyway, so I went with my son, and I was observing him. He had his 10th class, right? So once a week there's a class. So I was observing him. I was sitting, observing him, what he's going through, the drills and everything. And while he was practicing, I was just doing like this, without any ball, practicing stuff like that. And while he was practicing, I was also walking around in that area because it's a big Masjid Darul Iman. They bought a huge place which belonged to Ford. Ford, the company who assembles trucks and cars, right? So it was a Ford a truck assembly line, right? So it's a huge place. So they bought very cheap, and they made that one assembly line into, it might be, I think the assembly, how long the field is. I would say 2 acres wide and 3 acres long. So 1 acre is like almost 4,800, 5,000 square yard, right? 5,000 gaz, as we call it in Pakistan. So it's a almost 15,000 gaz long and 10,000 gaz, wide, right? So you can understand, like, it's a big place. So last Saturday, I went with him and he was practicing. And while the coach was busy, so I went there and I said, okay, let me try. So I did 10 dunks. In 12 attempts, I did 10 dunks from very far away. So all the kids were saying, do you play professional basketball? I said, no, this is the first time I'm doing it, you know? So I said Bismillah and I started practicing, and 1, 2, 3, and the kids were like, who is this guy? And before going there, I was reading this book. It's by Mahir Abu Wad, right? It's a Muslim coach in USA, the new era of basketball training. So I was learning, I was just by reading, I was trying to attempt, okay, what are the rules? I don't even know the rules. So what are the rules? What are the formulas you have to apply? Stuff like that, right? Inside out approach, like there are different kinds of approaches, right? Outer self, inner self, focusing on the physical health being and stuff like that. So it's a very, very good game. It's a very technical game. I really liked it. I said, okay, but that was it, right? The reason I'm telling you the story is, like, everyone goes through a learning curve, right, in their
Yes.
lives. Coach Musa, his name is Brother Musa. Kids call him Coach Musa, right? Brother Musa. So he became Muslim, and he, mashallah, teaches kids with Islamic spirit embedded, right? So inshallah, when I open my own school, I will hire him as a full-time coach. And I said, no, this is the guy who needs to be a coach in my school gym so that he can train all the kids, right? So he teaches them compassion, empathy, all the sunnah stuff, emotional intelligence with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And I was listening to him, I was watching him. He didn't know who I am, right? I was just sitting there, and I was just watching him, say, Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum salam, shake hands with him, stuff like that, right? And mashallah, this brother is amazing. He doesn't know who I am. He only knows this is Abu Abdullah, the father of Abdullah, right? My son name is Abdullah, right? That's it.
Yes.
So, but I was able to do it. I was able to overcome it. So you're going through this presentation for the first time. Calm down.
Yes.
The first thing. Be calm, be patient. You will be able to pass this, inshallah. If
Yes, sir,
not,
inshallah.
you will be given another, you can go for the second attempt, right? But I believe I've looked at your scores and everything. I can tell you, you can do this.
Yes, sir, inshallah.
It's in the bag, inshallah. It's in the bag for you if you pay attention to my question. So the presentation is going to be 15 to 20 minutes, followed by almost 40 to 45 minutes of questioning, right? I'm going to
Yes.
ask you, so 50% weightage is there for this presentation and 50% is for the MCQs. They are already calculating your scores and everything, how much you have scored, et cetera, in the MCQs part, right? This one is going to be very easy for you, inshallah, because I know that you have been in the industry working. I know that you're working really hard to get those things done. And I know that you're also planning to go to UK for your bachelor's, which is very weird, but I understand your point. You want to have one bachelor's from UK, one master's from US, right? Okay,
Yes.
it's fine. It's fine. I was discussing your case, so we can get you admission into master's in UK if you want to do that. But I know that you are planning to go to US, so you want to use this as a level 6 diploma to get into bachelor's, final year, and then
Mm.
apply for US master's, which makes sense because if you have a master's in UK, you do masters from UK, and then you apply for another masters, they might say, why are you going there, right? So it makes sense, right? Because your goal is to go and settle down in US in the long run and work there. And inshallah, may Allah give you tawfiq and make things easier for you, okay? So I'm just telling you, in my life, I've never played basketball professionally. I'm doing that now, just to teach my son. I had to learn this skill, right? I'm an expert marksman. I've shot more than 50,000 rounds, right? Or 50 caliber, right? So I'm an expert in that. So I'm teaching my son, but this was a new game for me, new game. And now I'm excelling it. So a person is never old to learn anything. If I can do this
Mm.
at 44, anyone can do it, right? Okay. And you're 24. So there's a 20 years difference, right? You're 24,
Yes.
right? So there's a 20
Yes.
years difference between you and me. But I
Yes.
can tell you right now, if you want to do wrestling with me or grappling with me, or you will have a tough time because you have to keep yourself conditioned. But if you condition yourself, then you can excel in that as well. Okay. So the presentation is going to be 15 to 20 minutes. Pace yourself. Pay attention to the questions when I'm going to ask. While you are presenting, I will be taking notes and writing down questions. 50% weightage
Oh,
for the MCQs, 50% is for the presentation. Out of that 50%, 25% marks are for presentation, 25% are for Q&A. Okay?
yes, sir.
Passing you need for the grade is score 50% altogether in both the MCQs and here. So aggregate. But I believe that you're already scoring 70, 75, 80% something in your MCQs. We have to double check that. Don't take my word for that. But let's see how you go through this thing. And as I said, we are always available. May Allah make it easy for you, and you will be able to go through. So calm down, relax, make sure that you go through all of those things. Okay, Bismillah. Let's start. Share your screen and proceed.
Mm.
Okay.
Can you see it now?
Yes, I can.
Uh, so first of all, my name is Muhammad Afzal, and I am studying AI Ops for gaming, AI Ops from Al Nafi. And the presentation topic that was given to me was AI Ops for gaming, how artificial intelligence and IT operations are implementing in gaming.
Can you take a pause over here? The reason I give you this gaming was you have experience in gaming.
Yes, sir.
So
I
that was
have
the
the
reason to give you this topic so that when you go out into the market and start applying for jobs, it's already your wheelhouse. You already know this stuff. So
yes,
now
sir.
you're bringing new next generation technology of how you can infuse AI into gaming aspects. Continue.
The cool thing about this presentation, the most thing that I have implemented in industry in the last 2 years, I have taken down all from there. I have not made this presentation on research based. Everything is what I have implemented in industry in the last year. I have taken down that points. So first, I will investigate how artificial intelligence affecting gaming by implementing artificial intelligence in different fields like cybersecurity, DevOps, SysOps, blockchain technology, and know the latest technology that is generative AI technology. So it's implementing in gaming and revolutionizing the whole world in new way. So there are 6 points here that I will discuss today. First, using AI for security in games, AI in DevOps and SysOps for games, blockchain for security and compliance in games, offensive security through AI in games, generative AI applications in games, and legislation and compliance in games. So our first point is using AI for security in games. So we are using AI model to predicting, detecting, and responsibility to cyber threats in real time. Uh, so that if there is any bug or any security issue, any phishing attempt and any network instruction, we can detect immediately that, and we can solve that on timely. Like in the previously, we were not using AI, and it was taking time to detect issues where exactly is issue. And now AI is changing completely, like it's predicting, detecting, and responding to cyber threats immediately. And the second point is AI in DevOps and SysOps for games. In DevOps is basically continuous integration and continuous deployment of our games on either on Kubernetes architecture framework or server framework. So the complete process of deployment from continuous integration to continuous delivery. Now we are implementing AI in pipeline steps like in continuous integration and in continuous delivery to optimize code deployment process and monitor logs and detect where the problem is and perform automated testing to ensure in new code integration smoothly with existing system. So I have mentioned here almost I think 4 DevOps process that I have implemented in the last year. First DevOps solution provided by Unity. So we don't do anything. We just set up repo there and we use their tools to completely deploy our games from when we build game. We just use a Unity DevOps cycles to deploy on their servers. Firstly is provided by the Unity, and there is steps almost about 6 steps in the Unity DevOps. First is we create assets, 2D or 3D assets that we use in game, and second step is we build that game, and third step when we take out build we use artifacts to deploy that on either on their Kubernetes architecture to maintain high availability and high scalability using microservice architecture framework. And the second framework is like we was previously using server architecture. So here are 6 steps: create, transform, store, deploy, validate, and release on servers or either on Kubernetes. And this is DevOps solution provided by Azure. We can use Azure pipelines, and all these pipelines like solutions provided by Unity, Azure, or either AWS. AI is implemented in these to timely detect issues in these um, pipelining. Unity tools for Azure DevOps, CI/CD for Unity project powered by Azure pipelines. We can use complete Azure infrastructure to deploy our games on their infrastructure. And the third one is provided by AWS. So in AWS, we use game artifacts and game build using continuous integration or continuous deployment using GitOps technology for Kubernetes, and for other for continuous delivery for server architecture. That is basically three-tier architecture. We deploy our application front end in the public subnet and backend in the private subnet, and databases in the private subnet to maintain security. So no one can access our backend and database. To maintain high security, we keep them in private subnets. And fourth one is we can use open source tool, and we can use tools of our own choice to make complete pipeline to deploy on Kubernetes architecture or on deploy on server architectures. And third point is blockchain for security and compliance in games. So blockchain technology, in previously we were making transactions in game using our MasterCard or Visa card, and some other sources we were using to make payment, either to buy character within game or buy any assets from the game. But now we are using blockchain technology, cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other coins. We can use that to purchase any assets or minting them as a NFT or making any other transactions for building up store and all kind of stuff. Anything we want to do in metaverse, basically, we can use cryptocurrency to make transactions. So this project is my own project that I have implemented in my company, Casinoversity. Casinoversity is virtual gaming metropolis where player can play games like poker, slot machine, blackjack, and they accept game. They can also build their store. Like someone have want to build watch store in Casinoversity, someone want to make a shirt store in casino, or someone anything you want to sell, just go in Casinoversity and make their store. Any user who will come to play games, he will buy shirts using blockchain, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin or Ethereum. You will get that thing in real world, like you are making payment and doing shopping in virtual world in metaverse city, Casinoversity. So this is implemented I have in my company. I am currently also I am working on this project till now, but the blockchain section is complete now. I have taken screenshot from that. We can make payment using MetaMask, Taurus, and Wallet Connect. And the project name is Bitwin. We can swap tokens. We can make transactions using cryptocurrency. We can play games using any coin. These are all screenshots that I have taken. Player is interacting with different games and purchasing different things.
So
And
is this like a online gaming poker room, virtual room? Where
yes,
people-
it's online game, multiplayer game. Many user can play and interact in the metaverse and can purchase different like you want to purchase watch or shirts or jeans or any other thing. Yeah, you can build your own store in the metaverse. You
So,
have to just
like, are people gambling in there or just like playing around? What is happening?
no, no, it's not involved gambling. It's just like playing games. Like you were going to play games in previously on laptop. You are playing games, but you cannot interact with the characters. You cannot talk with the characters. We are using generative AI, so I can communicate with my characters. I will explain in the next slides how I am using generative AI and doing this stuff. Basically, the concept is that you can communicate with your character using AI, generative AI.
Okay.
So this is basically a metaverse city. offensive security. Before going to that step, if generative AI application, before I will explain point 4 later. So this is basically linked with that step I have explained previously. Generative AI application for games. How generative AI applications are implemented in games. We are building different characters using RAG. For that, we get all data. Like we are developing a character who will inform you about like you want to get teach about O level or A level. We get all data from that book in PDF format. We convert in split that data to make token size small, so that we cannot give all data at once. That's why we are splitting down the data. After that, we use embedding techniques and store in the vector database and attaching with generative chat GPT models. We are using a chat GPT API and models GPT-4. We provide all data stored in vector database, and using RAG, we are training to that models. And after that, we are using the API, generative AI API, ChatGPT API to interact to implement in our games. I have, yeah, you can see here we are interacting with characters. Like characters are also interacting with each other. They can talk with each other. You can ask path, like I want to go in that store, I want to go in any place, auditorium or any place. You can ask from that character. Or you here is specific different role model. Like there is a chemistry teacher, there is a
Your
physics
screen.
teacher.
Can't see your screen. Share your screen.
I am sharing.
For some reason I can't. Okay. There's a new. Okay. Now I can see it. There was a problem on my side. Okay. Go ahead.
So basically, here different types of characters, like locals, natives in that society, and specifically AI engineer, chemistry teacher, physics teacher. You want to get anything from that, like I want to get O level chemistry. I want to get information about physics. You can go to that character and just ask, "Hey, this is my question," and he will reply to to that question of you. And all this we are using Chat GPT models, and we are using RAG and generative AI Chat GPT API to implement in games. So these are basically screenshot. Here you can see a chemistry of grade 11 and a local native. You can ask, I want to go to that place, and he will guide you. You can go to that place. Like in previously, you cannot interact with the characters. You cannot ask, you cannot talk with the character. You just play game. But no, we can interact with the characters. We can talk with them. And this is completely changing the gaming world. So this is basically generative AI in gaming. And the one point that I have multiversity. This is basically second project. I have previously explained about Casinoversity, and the one point that I was missing, offensive security through AI. So offensive security in AI, we are getting all data logs of our games on CloudWatch, and we are monitoring that. Is there any issue and someone assessing our games or database or anything? All the application that is running, if someone assessing irregularly or doing some unusual activities, we are monitoring that using CloudWatch and monitoring all the stuff to maintain high security standards. So no one can assess unusual and perform any abnormal activity on our games. And the last step, that legislation and compliance in gaming. So I have implemented some security and legislation in but this is not implemented by me and some other guy who is specializing in this legislation and compliance. He is seeing that, but I have studied and taken idea from that. Basically, he's seeing this part, and I have made here in the presentation that point also. So basically, there are USA in key legislation in USA, Canada, and European Union to the gaming network. General data protection regulation in the European Union, and California Consumer Privacy Act in USA, and personal Information Protection and Electronic Document PIPDA in Canada. And anti-money laundering activities, like we are doing all thing on blockchain, and every transaction is done on the blockchain. So for that, if someone is doing money laundering, and for that kind of stuff, we have implemented this Bank Secretary Act USA, and in anti-money laundering directive in European Union.
Let me ask you
That
something.
is
Hold on. This is a very loaded topic. So, do you know about the FACTA list, the FFIC, and all these things for anti-money laundering directives? Or what are you, because I have worked in this field, that's why I'm asking you. And the
so basically,
KYC, we also follow the KYC for students. We implemented Know Your Customer process. But is your company also following all of these regulations?
no, company is following regulations, but these are not implemented by me. These are implemented by guy who is from UK, and I have just get information about all these from that, and I have made here in the presentation. But the previously point that I have discussed that are implemented by me, like generative AI and blockchain. In blockchain, we are using NFT, ERC 1155, ERC 721 for token minting, and ERC 20 for doing different kind of transactions to buy characters, or to buy anything from the store, or that kind of stuff.
Okay, continue.
So that's the presentation from my end. I think I have completed all points.
Okay, so can you please stop the sharing of the screen so that we can continue with the question answers? I have some lots of questions right now, right? Okay, that's good. So in which company are you working right now? What is the name of the company?
I am working in the company Hashverse, but the company is working for the client who is from the USA.
What's the name of the company? Hashworks.
Hashverse.
Hashverse. Hash.
Yes.
VERSE.
Hashverse.
Okay.
But for the client for which we are working, that is from USA.
Okay. Is this the name of the company? Hashflow.com. Hashverse.
Hashflow, yes.
Is this the one?
I don't know all the website, but there is a recent project of this Hashflow and one other Dragonflow.
Okay. That's very interesting because I'm going to tell you something about, let's continue with the interview. Then I'm going to tell something about to you. All right. So, all right. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So the first question I have is, because I reviewed your presentation in the morning. Right now it's 11:30, 11:30 a.m. on my side. So what is the role of AI in cybersecurity for gaming networks? What do you see? Like, how can we use AI in
So,
cybersecurity for gaming networks?
so AI, how can we use AI in security or AI in gaming network?
AI in cybersecurity for gaming networks.
So basically, like any user come to play our games, and he's doing some unusual activities, like he's doing transactions, and he's making like trying to hack our games, and some other abnormal activities he's performing on games. We get that logs from there, and that logs are we send to CloudWatch, and also we are using companies using AI models to detect is there any issue that respond to timely to us that some user is trying to perform this abnormal activities, and we solve that issue immediately. Basically, AI models are using to detect abnormal activities on games.
So AI can help in predicting, detecting, and responding to cyber threats in real time, right?
Yeah, yeah,
It enhances encryption, detect anomalies, and automate security protocols. That is
yeah,
how you have to answer the question.
yeah.
Okay. Try to summarize your thoughts. Okay. Try to
Okay.
summarize them and give me an answer. Okay, I'm going to jump on the LLM side, which is very interesting. So, explain to me the concept of DevOps and its significance in the gaming network. Why is DevOps so important? The concept of DevOps is so important in the gaming network.
So basically, in the previously we are making games, but we cannot release timely. Like it's taking too much time. Is there any issue when we upload a game on the deploy a game on the server? If there any issue, it take times to respond back. A testing team take times to respond back to the developer, and developer then again fix that issue and deploy again to that on the server, and it was taking time. So DevOps basically streamline the process using continuous integration and continuous delivery to make gaming release fast and building secure using security.
Okay, that's good. I mean, it's essentially DevOps integrate the development and operations to streamline processes, improve efficiency, and enable continuous integration and delivery processes, right? Pipelines, delivery pipelines,
Yeah.
crucial for maintaining a resilient gaming network. It's very important because we embed all the good controls in there. That's good answer. Okay. What are the benefits of using blockchain technology in gaming? What are the benefits?
Yeah. Previously, we were using we were using Mastercard or Visa cards, and the our data gets stolen by some websites and that kind of stuff. That they were doing some irregular activities on our data. But now we are making all the transaction using blockchain. That's a just wallet. Like we make transaction from a wallet that no one can detect. Like no one can see that transactions, and no one can store our currency from that wallet. We have used encryptions to make them secure. All the transactions are using like someone is providing his wallet. We have also enabled encryption on his wallet, that if someone stole his wallet address or something, he cannot perform any activity on his wallet address or private key. Everything is encrypted.
Uh, Again, you know your stuff. You have to summarize the answer. Blockchain provides a tamper-proof ledger for securing
Uh,
transactions, reduce fraud, ensure transparency, automate compliance through smart contracts or through different means. Try to summarize your answers. Okay. You
I
know the stuff,
I
but
think I am.
okay. So try to summarize them. Uh, in the presentation side, uh, you have clarity, you have everything, right? But you have to present the answer in a form that is something that someone can understand, right? So the business lingo, you need to learn the business lingo. This is very important.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So how can AI be integrated into DevOps practices to ensure to enhance gaming network performance? I mean, if I need to improve the gaming network performance, the gaming network doesn't get slowed down or bogged down. What, how can I use AI in doing so?
AI can detect issues in pipeline process, continuous integration, and continuous delivery to respond back to timely way. Uh,
Excellent
so
answer.
the-
That's it. That's it. Pause. That's it. This is excellent. AI can predict, build failures, optimize deployment, processes, monitor system network connections. It automates the testing, the QA testing, the stress testing, the smoke. I mean, summarize the answer. Okay, that's good. Discuss how can AI, certain here, be used in offensive security strategies for gaming networks. I mean, what can we do to use AI?
uh,
How can we use, journal adversarial networks, GAN, in this case? How can we do that?
uh, so basically, like some hacker is doing unusual activities and is performing irregular activities, abnormal activities. AI detect logs uh, uh, in timely manner and tell us there is a issue. Someone is making hacking activities and that kind of stuff on our games.
Okay. Can you name some of the GAN network frameworks that are being used in the industry?
uh, GAN, so there are
They're known as
transfer.
generative adversarial networks, right?
Yeah.
They're known as, so I mean, first of all, what is GAN? I mean, what is GAN in this case?
For like definition, I can I cannot like I
Okay, that's fine. It's a class of machine learning frameworks which were
so
introduced by Ian Goodfellow, right? In 2014. They came on the scene in 2014. So they are designed to generate new data that is similar to a given data set. And what GANs really do is like they primarily use in the field of generative modeling. If you want to attack someone or something, like if I give it a pattern of data, that these are the kinds of attacks I want to do on a web
yeah.
application or a gaming network, what
Yes.
happens then? So that
Yeah.
is what GAN is, right? Do you know how to operate GANs?
Yeah, that's are basically generating data from the data sets that we have given to them.
Mhm.
That is
Okay.
generating new data from the data we have given to them.
So name me some open source GANs available in the market.
Like
Know
open
any open
source,
source
like
GAN?
uh, there are some models provided by Hugging Face, Ulama, and ChatGPT. We are mostly using ChatGPT,
Hugging Face is not
GPT-4.
used. Hugging Face is
Hugging
used.
Face is a website that provide open source model, Ulama and
No, no,
uh,
Olama is
G-
different. Olama is different. What Hugging Face really does is, I think it's an image model, right? It's for image.
yeah,
What I'm
images.
saying is like the GAN, there's a deep convolutional GAN, the DC GAN, there is style GAN, there is cycle GAN, there are multiple GANs available, right? So there is pix to pix, that's another one. It
Mm,
it's images to images. I mean, you can say Hugging Face can also create. Um,
these
how
are
does
basically
go ahead? You're saying something.
multi models that can generate text and images like Gemini, Google Gemini, and
Google Gemini.
GPT-4o,
Yes.
Gemini,
Yeah.
GPT-4o. We are using GPT-4.
You guys are using GPT-4? Okay. So how does generative AI contribute to enhancing the gaming experience? How can we use it?
So previously we cannot interact with the characters in the games and different things in the game, but now using AI we can interact with the games and we can give them instruction to do certain things.
So you can personalize player experience, automate content moderation, maintain a safe and engaging gaming network, right? Environment, stuff like that. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
All right, so analyze the impact of integrating AI with blockchain technology on compliance and security in gaming networks. How do you do that?
Uh,
I mean, if I have to analyze the impact of AI with blockchain technology on the compliance and security in gaming network, why
mm,
should why should I use AI with blockchain technology on compliance and security in gaming networks? Why?
uh, to perform to monitor irregular activities and to detect abnormal transactions and other abnormal activities on our games.
Okay, I will take that answer. I mean, it's integrating AI with blockchain enhances security by detecting unusual transactions, patterns, automating compliance, checks, all those kinds of good stuff, right? Okay,
Yeah.
what challenges might arise when implementing AI-driven observability and monitoring in the hybrid cloud gaming network? I mean, so we have a AWS and then there's an Azure. It's a hybrid cloud gaming network. What challenges can I see if I have to drive AI-driven observability within the network? If I have to observe what is happening under the hood, how can I do that? What challenges?
Uh, So for that, we have to collect our logs in a central server. Like we can get our logs on either on AWS on Azure. Basically, logs are generating from from pipelines process and from server process. What we should do, we should collect all our logs at one place, and using AI, we have to detect from that what's happening, right?
So essentially, it's like the challenges include ensuring compatibility between different cloud environments, managing data privacy and security, hardening latent, handling latency issues. There can be latency issues,
Yeah.
integrating diverse monitoring tools and practices, right? That's what we have to do. Just give me 1 minute, please. Okay, I will take that answer. Number 9, ninth question I have. Uh, how do you evaluate the potential ethical concerns associated with with using AI for offensive security in gaming networks? I mean, what are the potential ethical risks, ethical
What are
concerns? Excuse me.
ethical concerns? We
You know the
can.
answer? It's okay. You can say pass.
I didn't get exact point.
So it means like, what are the potential ethical concerns associated with using AI for offensive security in gaming networks? If I use AI to perform attacks on the gaming networks, what potentially can happen?
So if we use AI like on destruction, it can perform many destruction we are generating, like we are creating videos and images that are not really exist, and
So
that base.
essentially, yes, you're right. I mean, the ethical concerns include the risk of AI tools being used for malicious purposes,
Yeah.
potential privacy violations, financial violations, fraud attempts, and the challenges of maintaining transparency and accountability in an AI-driven security measure. This is one of the biggest concerns. Now, in the companies are now looking at how should we implement AI. But the biggest challenge that they're having is, what if it just gets out of hand? What then? Then what? What if we have a situation like Terminator, right? Skynet, Skynet, Terminator, right? Have you seen Terminator?
Mm,
Have you seen the movie Terminator?
yeah, I have heard about that, but I
You've
have
heard about
not
it,
seen.
okay. So I haven't watched the movie, but I've read about it. So I know that there's an AI that takes controls of the world. So these are potential concerns, but in my view, AI is not there. Will it be there? I don't think so. There are many other things that we have to consider. There's a lot of FUD and fear, uncertainty, doubt that the companies are, spreading. But there's one thing I do know is that there is a new bill in California right now that is being debated on the floor, which is introducing a kill switch within AI so that we can address the potential ethical concerns of offensive AI, right? So that's one question, which is a tough one. The questions are, by the way, going to get tougher now, okay? Okay, propose a comprehensive strategy for using AI and blockchain to ensure compliance with GDPR, CCPA, you mentioned that, PIPDA in gaming networks, right? What kind of
Uh,
strategy should we use?
so basically, these steps are not implemented by me, but what I have get from that guy, how we can use AI. Like we can use different encryptions method to secure data, to give least privileges to users, and who is maintaining infrastructure, and either who is user who is coming to play our games. We give them to least privilege, like he cannot access to other user profiles widely in deep, like getting wallet address or private keys, that should be encrypted in their way, so that no one can get access to other user data. For that, we can use AI to detect activities,
Okay,
individual user
I
who is performing.
I got the question from your presentation. I mean, these are my notes. The presentation is there. So the comprehensive strategy would include using AI for real-time monitoring of data practices, automated compliance reporting and checks, using blockchain for securing data at rest, in motion, in transit, and transaction transparency, ensuring robust encryption and access controls. You mentioned all of those things, but you need to come up with, the business lingo, you know,
So
because you have to work on this, Muhammad Afzal. This is very important for you. By the way, the industry in which you are working right now, it is picking up, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you go with the same skill set to UK, you can secure a 75 to 85,000 pounds per annum job.
Mm.
Even with this, as you are right now, that is what you can do. But if you can effectively and eloquently communicate, you can go to $100,000.
So
Hundred
basically,
thousand pounds, 100,000 pounds. I'm talking about pounds, right? I'm going to tell you something about yourself, which is extremely important for you to understand. Okay. Uh, so far, the presentation is going very good. So calm, be calm. All right. All right. So the next question I have is, hold on. Just going to make sure it's right. This is a tough topic you have. Okay. But you can handle it. You can handle it. It's in your wheelhouse. Design a framework. If you have to design a framework that integrates AI, DevOps, blockchain to optimize both operational efficiency and security in a global gaming network, just like EA Sports or uh, what is the name of the company that created the one of the games, Starfleet something, Bethesda something, right? These are the big companies, right? Or Ubisoft in Montreal, right? This is something where you can come and you can work because they're working on all of those things. The reason I know about the games is my son, he plays the games, right? And I sit there and I watch him how he's playing the games. I used to be a big gamer myself, right? Long ago. Not anymore. I don't have the time to play games. I love the gaming concept. Like the Call of Duty is one of the biggest franchise. So if you have to develop a framework to integrate AI, DevOps, blockchain, offensive security to optimize both operational efficiency and security in a global gaming network. Explain how this framework addresses the specific needs of different regions like the US, Canada, EU, because
uh,
these are the three places, the North America and EU, where all the global gaming is happening, essentially, right? How would you do that? What the
uh,
framework would look like?
so basically, we are following six architecture framework of AWS that maintain security, high performance, high availability, continuous monitoring, and one step that I am missing. So we are using six
Delivery,
architecture
continuous
framework.
monitoring, agile processes. Go ahead. Okay, yeah.
We are using six frame architecture of AWS to maintain infrastructure that we are using for our games, and that's from end of development, and from the user perspective, we are maintaining using different kind of encryption key to secure data, uh, to maintain activities, to monitor activities uh, of the user, uh, using some open source tools like
Okay. So that's a good answer. Just you are going through an interview. Consider this as your job interview, right? I'm going to show you what we are going through right now. By the way, try to do Al Razak Labs once you go through all of those things. There are many things in Al Razak Labs like this for gaming industry as well. Okay, this is going to
okay.
help you prepare for the interviews. Now, all the interview preparation is through Al Razak. I don't sit down with anyone to prepare them. Now, I have everything ready. Go and go through those things, and you will be ready for the interviews. So the framework would incorporate AI for predictive analytics and automated monitoring, DevOps for continuous delivery, and agile responses to threats, malicious attempts, different kinds of fraudulent attempts by using blockchain to secure and provide a transparent transactions. Okay. For the privacy and other concerns, it would be tailored to regional regulations like GDPR is separate requirements, EU for EU, CCPA in California, because in US, all the states, California has the most restrictive compliance requirements. That's why they are debating the new AI bill over there as well. And then adherence to CCPA, and then the PIPDA in Canada, right? The
Yeah.
Privacy Information Act in Canada. So see how I presented the answer and how you presented the answer. You have to work on that.
So basically, I am missing business terms and technical terms, and I
Yes,
am explaining the things how I have implemented.
yes, but you have to look when you're sitting in front of directors and managers, you have to present the answer that they can understand. There will be technical people sitting there, but at the same time, there will be business people sitting there,
I
right?
got, I
So
got.
you have to work on your, lingo and your business lingo. That's why communication course is important, right? Okay, that's why you have to take the IELTS classes. You have to pass IELTS. Have you passed IELTS?
No, I have not till yet,
Got to
but
do that. You
well,
have to do that. Pass IELTS. It's very important, and the training is already provided to you. Okay. All right. So the next question I have is critically assess the limitations of current AI technologies in predicting and responding to zero-day vulnerabilities in gaming networks. You have
zero
to
frame.
critically analyze. Can AI find zero-day vulnerabilities?
Sorry, I didn't get your point. Zero
Okay.
frame.
So you know what zero-day vulnerabilities are, right?
I
You know what
have
zero-day
read
vulnerabilities.
about it few days ago, but
You did a whole course on that. And
yeah, I have read that from there, but I have not in detail like.
so zero-day vulnerabilities means that, you know, there is no historical data about that vulnerability because if any vulnerability happens, it goes into the MITRE attack or any other database that is being maintained, right? Was it a SQL injection? Was it a backdoor? Was it cross-site scripting? Was it what was it, right? So we already know broken link access, URL access, et cetera, et cetera. So can AI predict zero-day vulnerabilities? Can AI find zero-day vulnerabilities?
Some new AI models like a Perplexity AI, which has real-time data access. If model, if
No,
there's
no,
some
the
model
answer
come,
is yes or no.
eh,
Give me an answer and
I
yes.
I
Can
can
AI
guess
predict?
yes.
Can AI predict zero-day vulnerabilities with, what are the limitations of AI? Can it predict zero-day vulnerabilities?
No, I don't think so. Till now, I don't think so.
Why? Why? Your answer is right.
Be-
Why?
Because we have like
What does AI, okay, hold on. What does AI relies on?
AI relies on data.
Data, right? There is no data on zero-day vulnerabilities. There is no historical data on zero-day vulnerabilities. So AI cannot detect zero-day vulnerabilities because of lack of historical data for
Yeah,
training models.
yeah,
You need to train a model to find a vulnerability. The sophistication of novel attacks and the challenges of real-time adaptability without human oversight is useless.
yeah,
So the human will always be there. See, this is the most important. Go and verify this answer that Muhammad Faisal said. If you have to, the question is, if you have to critically assess the limitations of current AI technologies in predicting and responding to zero-day vulnerabilities in gaming networks, what are those? If you have to critically assess, the answer is current AI technologies may struggle to find zero-day vulnerabilities, and the reason is lack of historical data. If
yeah,
you have historical data, right, for training models, the sophistication of novel attacks and the challenges of real-time adaptability, without human oversight, that would be great, but that doesn't exist. You see, so humans will always be 10 steps ahead of AI, but you have to be smart human.
yeah,
not, not like Donald Trump. Okay.
yeah.
No offense to any Trumpers here, but you have to be smart, right? Okay. All right. So this was a tough question.
Yeah, but with the advancement of AI, I think like in the modern technologies like AI agents and that kind of stuff which are coming in the future, maybe that can do, but for no till no, we cannot do that kind of stuff.
Okay. The next question I have is explain how the smart contracts on a blockchain can reduce the fraud in gaming transactions.
So for the blockchain frauds, like I have explained in the very start, uh, we make transactions on some website using Visa card, Mastercards, or other cards that were stealing our data. But no, we have made transaction from the wallet that no one can store and no one can get information about that.
Okay. That's good. Okay. All right. It's a good answer. You take that. Uh, I'm looking at your presentation. What are the key components of a secure and compliant gaming network using AI and blockchain technology? You see, the questions are changing. I throw a tough question and an easy question, an advanced question and an intermediate. Got to do that, man. I have to make sure that you go through the oven. I have to bake you up. Okay, go ahead.
Uh, so,
So
can you
what are the key components of a secure and compliant gaming network using AI and blockchain technologies?
so the main components that we have to follow, like encryptions and least privileges, uh,
Look, this question
and
has been asked in multiple ways, in one way or the other. The key components includes robust AI-driven threat detection, blockchain for secure transactions, automated compliance checks, and strong encryption protocols. See, your answer, encryption, this, see how I'm answering, how you're answering? This makes a big difference. Afzal,
yeah,
you have to be at that level that when you go for the interview, you say, I would like to have 100,000 pounds per annum, please. That's what
yeah.
I need. So you have to up your game, okay? Otherwise, they will pay you 75,000 pounds per annum, which is still a lot of money. But you have to prepare yourself. Okay. How can AI-based predictive analytics be used to enhance the user experience in gaming? I mean, how can
User can feel safer to play our games, like we are implementing security using AI strategy.
you have to how performing sentiment analysis, performing player satisfaction and engagement data. I mean, there's a lot of things you have to look at, right?
Yeah.
Okay, evaluate the okay. Okay. So critically assess the impact of blockchain technology on reducing the operational cost in gaming network. I mean, what is the biggest operational cost in gaming network?
So operational cost for operational cost
I
like
mean, that blockchain can address. What is the operational cost? For every transaction I process, if it's Visa, how much do they charge?
yeah, they charge too much, but here the gas fee is too very low
Right? So they
for each
charge
transaction.
on average 3.5 to 5%, 6%. If it's a conversion rate, they charge a conversion rate fee, all of those kinds of things, right? So how
Yeah.
can blockchain be used in this context?
So we can use blockchain chain like previously any country who is detecting taxes for each transactions, and the company which we are using like PayPal or Payoneer, they are also detecting their taxes, but in the blockchain we have to just pay a little gas fee for each transaction. We don't have to
So
pay too much.
the answer is the blockchain can reduce cost by eliminating intermediaries, right? There is
Yeah.
payment gateway, there's a acquiring bank, processing bank, processor, payment processor, automating transaction processes with smart contracts, enhancing fraud prevention. But it will require a significant initial investment, right? You have to set up things, uh, set up your networks, stuff like that. So that's how you critically evaluate, right? Okay. I'm going to ask you another question. Okay. Propose an architecture that integrates AI, DevOps, SysOps, and blockchain to create a comprehensive security and compliance framework.
Uh,
How would you do that for gaming networks?
So for gaming network, like from the infrastructure perspective, we have to maintain IAM roles. We have to give least privileges. We have to set RBAC in Kubernetes. And for other, if we're using servers architecture, we have to maintain least user privileges for a framework for deployment framework
Okay.
on or the frameworks that
Next
we are.
question. Next question. I'm running out of time. Evaluate the limitations of current AI technologies in adapting to emerging threats in real time within gaming networks. What are the limitations of AI
Uh,
technology, current AI technologies? I mean, what are the limitations in the context of detecting real time emerging threats from the offensive security perspective? I did ask you this question from a slightly different perspective just a few minutes ago.
Yeah. Uh, Basically, if someone is attacking, hacking, or perform any unethical activities, AI cannot detect that because AI has don't have data. Like if
So
someone
the
is performing,
limitations include the need for vast amount of training data.
yeah, for
Okay.
that,
Potential biases in an AI model is another limitation. There is always a bias in the model
yeah,
because the data comes from uh, Pakistani users, for example. The Pakistani users will have a different biases.
yeah,
They commit fraud in a different way. You go in Nigeria, they commit fraud in a different way. There are different biases. So you can't use in US, fraud is committed in a different way, right? The politicians in Pakistan, they commit the same fraud in the same way time and again. And they're so dumb that they not even smart enough to commit corruptions properly, right? The Italians, they're very innovative. They keep on coming up with new ways, right? Similarly, the Chinese, right? So if you use the same model to train to detect fraud, the Mexican drug cartels, they're different, right? You have to use, they all come with their own biases. So you can't use the model, one size fits all model for everything. So the biggest challenge that the organizations are nowadays facing is every business is different. Every business is unique. Even if there are two telecommunication companies, they both have different sets, different customers, different preferences, different systems, different data, right? So the answer is potential biases in AI models is a limitation, vast amount of data required for training data, difficulty in handling zero-day vulnerabilities, challenges in maintaining real-time adaptability. For the next 20 years, 25 years, companies will be trying to solve this biggest problem everywhere,
yeah.
including gaming networks, okay? All right, so we are on the next phase. If you have to formulate, let me see. So design a if you have to design a comprehensive risk management framework, incorporating AI, blockchain to proactively identify, mitigate, and respond to security threats in a global gaming network, what considerations for scalability, compliance, and evolving threat landscapes will you take into consideration? What are those things? That's a loaded question. The questions are getting tougher now. You're at the tail end, right? So you'll feel the heat.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay, what are the risks management frame? You have to, what are the considerations you have to take into, what are the points you have to take into considerations of how you will manage these different risks, like security threats, how
Like
to
first of all,
manage them, mitigate them, address them. What would you do? What framework would you design?
uh, first of all, uh, first of all, we will see how severe is the attack, uh, like how much it can affect our company, and how much can we bear loss. Uh, like these are all these things we have to take into consideration for that.
Okay, all right, move. Critically analyze the limitations. You have to analyze, critically analyze. The senior management comes to you and say, Muhammad, you have to critically analyze the limitations and challenges of integrating generative AI into gaming networks. From a cybersecurity perspective, how can these challenges be mitigated while still leveraging the benefits of generative AI? I mean, what are the challenges? And how can we mitigate these challenges address these challenges while using generative AI, in a gaming network
Uh,
or cybersecurity perspective? What are the
so basic
limitations? First, tell me the limitations.
so the limitations, uh, exactly, like I
Let me give you a hand. The limitations include the potential for generative AI to create content that could be exploited for social engineering attacks, right?
yes, like
Or
creating user creating abusive content, like we are
or
engaging with the character.
inappropriate content. Yes. Okay. Go ahead. Yes.
We are
Yes.
we are engaging with the character, like if we are giving some abusive content to the character, and we are asking to perform some abusive activities. Basically there is a multiplayer, and every one other in the room can see that this character is performing abusive thing. So basically these are uh, unethical activities in the that generative AI can do in the games.
Right. You're able to answer it. Again, the answer needs to be better, but I will take that, as a level 6 answer. Yes. But for the interview, you have to do better. You have to do better. Okay. Uh, Propose a machine learning model architecture tailored for real-time detection of sophisticated multi-vector, multi-regional cloud environment cyber attack in gaming network, right? What I'll discuss the data requirements, the model selection, and deployment consideration of this model. How would you do that for a multi-model architecture? What will the architecture would be?
So basically, first of all, we will see like there is different models provided by different Google, from ChatGPT, and some other open source from Facebook. We will see like what is our requirement and which multi-model can do that task. We will select on the basis of that.
Let me pause you there. You did all the AI courses, right?
Yeah.
In the courses, there was supervised and unsupervised learning.
Yeah,
What are those
but
techniques? And then reinforcement learning. Three things: supervised learning, unsupervised learning, reinforcement learning. That is the question I'm asking here. Go back to the question again. Propose a machine learning model architecture tailored for detecting real-time detection of sophisticated multi-vector cybersecurity attack happening on multi-regional architecture residing in AWS and Azure. How would you detect that? It's a tough question, right? It's
yeah,
tough. Okay. The model
I am
architecture
ready.
should use a combination of supervised and unsupervised learning techniques, such as deep learning for anomaly detection, you know, predictive analytics, reinforcement learning. There's a ton of things for adaptive defenses, measures, deployment, and there are many other things, right?
Yeah.
All right. So this was a tough one. I have to admit, this was a tough one, right? Okay. So 6 questions left. These are the tougher ones. Okay. Evaluate the potential of using AI to enhance regulatory compliance beyond traditional monitoring by predicting regulatory changes and automating policy adoption. And I'm looking at your presentation and I'm drafting these questions from there. How feasible is this approach in your practice? You know, how can we use AI for doing all of these things to enhance security compliance and traditional monitoring? How can we use AI?
Like
I
in
mean, why should
tradition,
we use AI? Why should we use AI?
in traditional monitoring, it was taking too much time to monitor activities. But with the advancement of AI, or implementing AI, we can detect threats in real time. We can detect threats in real time,
What else?
and any abnormal activities, or
Okay, let's move forward. If you have to create decision making algorithm that leverages AI and blockchain to optimize the allocation of resources like compute, power, storage, bandwidth, network, services, all the service-oriented architecture in a hybrid cloud environment for a gaming network. What considerations would you consider for cost efficiency, security, and user experience?
Uh, for cost efficiency, user experience, we will implement AI to detect how much our application can scale and how much activities on our games are performing. On the base of that, we can allocate resource. AI can decide how much resources should we have to allocate to specific instance, and on that AI can detect activities, and on the base of that data which he get from the activities, he can decide and he can give us estimate that how much resources and storage we have to give into architecture.
Okay. All right. So this is the question I have for you. And I'm going to ask this question by looking at the job market of what are they asking for, right? Uh, okay, so okay. And this is a loaded question, right? So try to answer this as much as you can. Okay. If you answer this one, then we are all set. So what LLMs can be used for implementing AI ops into gaming industry networks, right? What LLMs can be used?
So basically, I am implementing Chat GPT
Okay.
first of all, we get data, like we have to train for specific task,
How
we
do you
get
use
data.
ChatGPT? How do you use it? Like, I mean, are you using it like through, how are you using it? Like when you say we are using ChatGPT.
So first of all, we get data and trim that data, embed it, and store in vector database. After that, using RAG, we provide data to the models, and a model from we ask question from the models, and a model, all the data related in that vector database get back to that question, and with the prompt we get that information related to our question there in the model, we get answer back, and from there we are using generative AI API in the games to get answer back, and using text to speech AWS service uh, that is giving back in voice to us.
So it's a good approach, but there's a ton of things that you can do. Uh, I'm going to discuss that later on. I think there are many things that you can do. You can look into ChatGPT 4. You can look into BERT, bidirectional encoder representation and transformers. You can look into text-to-text transformers, T5. There is XLNet, which is being used right now in the gaming industry. There's a Roberta, a robust optimized BERT approach. That's another thing. Llama is another one. We're using Llama 3, the biggest model available right now. Bloom, Datadog Grok, that's another one. Uh, so there are multiple things you can do. Okay, that's a good one. Your interview was very tough, I have to say. Would you like to know your score?
Yeah, I am a bit scared.
Okay. All right. So you scored 22 in your presentation out of 25. The presentation was good. I gave you 3 in the presentation, clarity 4, communication 3 out of 5, and knowledge 4, and time management 4, right? Altogether 22. It's a good score. For the Q&A session, I give you 18 out of 25. It was a tough one, and there were some multi questions and whatnot. So altogether, you scored 40 out of 50, which gives you 80%, right? It's not bad. It's actually good. You have passed your exam. This was the final stone, okay? Now, what is your plan? What do you plan next in terms of doing so? What are your plans?
So actually, I was deciding to do bachelor from UK. I get information about London Metropolitan University that is offering top up here in software engineering and computer science. So I was deciding to get bachelor from there, and after that, I was planning to move to USA for master. But if I get admission on the basis of this diploma in USA, then I will definitely go for master directly in US.
Here's what you can do, okay? This is my recommendation for you. I think going to UK for a bachelor's and then going to US for a master's is a good idea. How old are you? You're 24, right?
Yeah.
So you have time on your side. What is your last qualification? A level, equal,
No,
right?
I have done FSC pre-medical back in 2020. After that, I have learned game development and I was doing Java for 2 years, and I started studying in ComSat in the first semester. After that, I came to know about Al Nafi and I get enrolled here in
So you
January.
saved a lot of your time by not going to ComSat, first of all. Okay, you saved a lot of your time. Those people who are still studying, they're still studying, right? And you are multiple steps ahead of everyone. So this is what you have to do. My recommendation: you have 2 ways, right? First of all, I congrats you to passing, for passing the exam. That's great. That is phenomenal work by you. We will compile the results and we will do all of those things. Possibly, since you need the diploma faster so that you can apply for your exams, for your admission, we will try to get those things aligned up so that we can send it to you. Okay. That's one thing.
Yeah,
Uh, Hopefully, we should be able to get it done by October or something like that so that it is done. And, by the mid of October or the last week of October, you have it and then you can proceed. Okay. That's one thing. The second thing I have for you is if you look at the jobs right now in US and in UK, right? There are tons of jobs, and I'm looking at the jobs market right now, right? So normally the pay starts at 45,000 pounds to 75,000 pounds, right? If I select 75,000 pounds, you can go into, you know, somewhere between the range, in my view, of 60 to 55,000 pounds. So let's select 55,000 pounds. This is a platform engineer, software engineer, enablement engineer, Gen AI, product, model, site reliability, GitOps engineer. So there's a tons of things that you can go into for the game development side, right? In the US, the market is pretty big, AI game developer, as I wrote down, right? And these are high paying jobs, right? So you can see pay starts from $90,000 up to goes to $160,000, right? This is my recommendation for you. This is what I'm going to tell you to do. Go to UK, right? And because every person is unique, even though you have a diploma in AI ops at level 6, I would recommend you to go to UK and you wanted to apply for a last year in bachelor's, right? Go and do your bachelor's.
yeah,
Go and do your bachelor's. 1 year. It's nothing. It will pass away very fast. And you have to come to me to draft your resume. I'm going to draft your resume personally. Okay. So you have to tell
okay,
me
thanks.
my resume needs to be ready. Please, Faisal Bhai, if you can get it done, I will get it done for you. Secondly, is you have to apply. We can help you to get the admission there. That's one thing, right? That's what we provide. We provide that to everyone. Second is make sure you go and complete all the Al Razak requirements. You have a good skill. So if you really want to become a product manager where you manage the developers and the network guys and the compliance guys, that's what they do. You can be at that level because you have the skills. You have the skills. The way you communicate will improve as you move further. But you know your stuff. That's the most important thing. You know, there's not like a lot of people in the industry that knows their stuff. So you know your stuff. That's another thing. So go to UK, do the last year of bachelor's, and then from there you will be given PSW. So while you're working, apply for masters in US, and then you land there with masters. So you already have a 1 year of experience in UK or 2 years of experience on a PSW, right? This will help you apply and find a job in EB2 visa in US. US is a
Yeah.
huge market, huge, right? Everyone works in the US when it comes to gaming, or in Canada, Ubisoft, right? So, which is based in Montreal, but they have offices all over the world. So this is your great potential. So take one step in UK, do the last year of bachelor's. You already have this diploma. Complete your Al Razak program. Try to complete. Do not leave the diploma program. Keep on renewing, keep on learning new things. You must complete the Al Razak program. Al Razak program, I have given people these kinds of challenges. Can you crack those challenges? I believe you may be able to do so. I think so. I mean, not thinking. I would say, I'm sure now, after taking your interview, you can do that. So when you go for the Al Razak requirements and you complete that and you have landed in UK, and you complete a degree and you have your work permit, we can assist you in finding job in UK, and we can connect you with the employers, right?
Thanks.
So that is something you can do, and you can work in UK on a starting salary of between 55 to 65,000 pounds per annum. That is a one hell of a salary, I would say. It's a good salary. At the age of 25, you will be in UK, 26, earning 75,000 pounds because your industry has a niche. There's not too many developers, especially the ones who knows AI, generative AI infusion. So if you learn all the LLMs and you know how to implement them, do you know how to create vector database? You said like it goes all the data into vector database, and then from there we give it to the AI through the API. That's what you need to learn. If you do all of those things and show it to us in Al Razak Labs, you can go there. That's what you
Yeah.
have to do, right? So learn all of these things. This is extremely important for you. And then from there, slowly and gradually take your next step in US. And then in US, once you're there, complete a degree, they will give you 3 years of work permit because you'll be and go there for any lower end university where you complete the degree and you get 3 years of work permit, 2+1 or 1+2, whatever, right? You will be able to find an employer. If not, you can still find other things in there anyway, right? So that's what you need to do. If you can do that, you'll be unstoppable. This is my recommendation for you. You followed my advice to the word, as I told you over the years when you came to us first time. Follow my advice now.
Yeah, inshallah, I will.
Inshallah, okay? Do you have any questions for me?
So I have just one question about certificate in how many days I can get. Like I was planning to apply for January or February intake in London
February intake
Metropolitan
starts,
University.
right? So you should have your certificate in your hand by October last week or something. You know, I'm going to have a word with the director of academics, see if how I can expedite this thing and give it to you.
If I can get soft copy even
So
in
you will get the
October
soft
or
copy first. The hard copy will take time, but you will get the soft copy.
yeah, I need soft copy for that.
Yeah, yeah. So we can do, there's a process we have to go through. I'm going to ask Yusuf to expedite the process, get it done, send it over. We will do that. I hope that you should be fine. It may take 1 to 2 months time, but by the physical copy, the digital copy, you may have it early on that you can use uh, to apply for admission, but you need to get your resume done by me. I'm going to work on your resume. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
So send me your resume immediately and say, this is my resume. Please work on it. Get it done. I will get it done, inshallah. And I'm really proud of you, Muhammad Afzal. You did very well. This was a tough interview. I had some much more tougher questions, but our goal is to enable our students for success, right? But at the same time, maintaining our quality standards, right? By January onwards, there will be more Al Razak labs. So now no one will be able to pass the interview, the the oral presentation until they complete the Al Razak labs. So they're coming. So you have graduated. You've already completed everything now. So there might be some few requirements left, but you are graduating early on before those tougher requirements comes in, right? And comes into play. So, it's good. I'm really happy for you. I wish you all the best. May Allah give you
Thank you so
success here and the hereafter. Okay. If you have any questions, always reach out to me, ask me. I'm always available. Just pick up the phone, call me. We are always here to assist our students. We are opening our campus in UK soon, inshallah. You will know us, and in US as well. You will know about that as well, inshallah. Okay. If that happens, you can
much.
come to US at our campus if you choose to do so.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
definitely. If you, yeah, I will.
Jazakallah khair for your time, and I wish you all the best in your life and in your professional career.
Okay,
Assalamu
thank you so
alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
much.